how'd you enjoy the movie, bro?
Man, that shit is crazy than a motherfucker. And I'm so mad at y'all for making me watch it. I was like, oh my god, I can't get my life back.
Instantly.
I'm gonna have to disagree on some of these points in that movie, though.
Okay. Like, what
pretty,
point exactly? Okay.
The premise of the movie was cool as hell, it's funny, but it goes off the basis that only smart people procreate with smart people, and dumb people procreate with smart people, and the smart people really aren't procreating, so it's just the dumb people just don't take over. And I was like, okay.
But isn't that what's slowly happening though? I mean, there's so many 19-year-olds around here that are just spitting out kids left and right that the state's gonna pay for it.
Okay, so even with society and genetics and everything, there's always mutations. And then you have nurture versus nature. People sit here and view their parents, okay, that's fucked up. I'm not gonna follow that same scheme. I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna get my education and still move forward.
It's hyperbole. It is definitely like it's to an extreme. Ads are everywhere, and it's like that in the movie, and it's like that in real life. It's the way that people that really only subscribe to popular culture and act like education is something to be ashamed of. There is definitely a group, the ones that are basically anti everything. It's the man's problem. I don't know how to relate to that. You know what I mean? It's never my fault. It's always someone else's fault. It's my boss's fault. It's my mailman's fault for not bringing me the letter that got my bills, not paid, or my light shut off. It's always somebody, there's a group of people, and they don't speak well.
But over on this side, being smart is cool. Like, the more groups and the more things you're into, and actually the intelligence, it's like, yeah, you're a cool person. And they're not subscribing to the MTV and the BET and all the ignorant shit. This new generation is a trip. They're all about education. They have no empathy for shit, but they're all about getting knowledge.
That's actually really spot on. That's actually like a fucking awesome assessment.
They are all about the education. They want the education, but the caveat that I have to that is overtly selfish in their education. I don't think they take seriously in the sense of, like, I'm making myself a better person, so let me go out and do things for other people. As a general majority, they're like, I'm gonna go to college so I can be smart and make that money so I can go and fucking YOLO on a yacht instead of in my hometown, on a boat at the lake. Like, kudos to them because they want to get that education, but I think that this generation, their motivation to get that knowledge, I think is misguided.
They're driven by the market. They're driven by capitalism. I mean, they're children of their era. They're children, they're definitely products of the environment, right? So they know and understand that, it's all about money, and the more that you know, the more that you will earn. And so, I mean, yeah, it's misguided because knowledge is something that should be nurtured. It should be shared. Knowledge is actually something that should be nurtured. That's really the best word for it. It's something that should be held in high regard. But for them, it's just another tool in their tool bag. That's how they view it.
The Linda and Bill Gates giving back to the community, doing stuff for everybody else and going back to their hometown and trying to make the world better. You just have them out for themselves and trying to make money.
And it's weird because it translates into movies like Idiocracy. People with younger brains that don't have life experience. They don't have to be necessarily as old, but they don't have that life experience to see that this is not just a movie that was made to be mindless and funny for entertainment value. Like, there is an underlining meaning behind this movie, and they're just making fun of it because it's hard to accept the truth that we have been living in a world that is slowly coming to a realized version of Idiocracy, right? Like, we're not all walking around in shiny fucking disposable clothes with all the advertisements on it.
Well, hold on, but we are though.
No, we're walking around with advertisement on clothes, but it's not the same material and it's not disposable like that. And
it doesn't have to be the same. The point is this movie was made a decade ago. I mean, we got people that'll line up around the block to get a pair of Jordans the day they drop.
Yes,
all they're doing is advertising that logo, and more people are like, I think I need a pair of Jordans. I've been hooked that way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you see it, and you see people in their shiny ass shoes, and you're like, oh goddamn, I'll give me some 200,
Yeah,
The
no,
new LeBrons are hot. They just won the championship. You know what I mean?
we are advertising. I'm just saying that it isn't as futuristic looking. The clothes aren't as futuristic looking, and when I meant like shiny, like if you remember, they pull it out of a one of those seat cover dispensers, and then they wear it, and then they throw it away. That's an exaggerated form of what we do now. Hey, I bought a shirt on Monday that's, flashing something awesome, and it gets thrown away into the closet, into a drawer, and I forget about it because I end up having so many clothes. I bought so many clothes. I don't know. There's too many decisions. And so as you pile on, more and more, you're basically disposing of the clothes, the money that you spend on the clothes, because you really, somebody does not need to have that big of a wardrobe. I think of myself as having a very small wardrobe, and I still feel like I have too many clothes.
That's not what the movie is trying to illustrate. The movie is trying to illustrate that the combining, right, the merging of all of these companies over time is going to come to a point to where Hanes and whatever company, Nike or whatever, are then owned by one company. Guess what? You're buying nothing but Hanes shirts with Nike logos everywhere. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about now they're all it's completely ubiquitous. You go into vending machines for your clothes because why? It doesn't matter. It all looks the same because there's no competition. Only one company owns everything. There's no reason there's no reason for variety.
Something different way. I took something different way as far as like the dude sitting there on the couch watching TV.
I was just about to come to that.
But 10 years ago, so even today, you got people walking around just not having conversations, just consuming media all day. But that's all they do. They see them on their smartphones. Even if you go on a date with a girl or whatever, you see two people just sitting on your smartphone. And they're not living in the moment. They taking pictures, posting them on Facebook, and they're really not enjoying and actually looking at the world.
Yeah, there's very few people that will snap their pictures while things are happening and then leave it and then post later when the activity or the event is done.
All of the biggest things that I've been through in the last, aside from like when I got my associate's degree, that was a big deal. I had some pictures taken, but aside from that, when I've been doing something big recently, I don't take pictures at all. It's up here.
Yeah,
that's what's important. You know what I mean? Because when you're on your deathbed, you're not gonna be like, "Hey, son, somebody give me my smartphone." You know,
remember this moment here.
Very true. Very true.
Baby.
I agree with social media and like what it can do, but the idea that going back to the Idiocracy, on the big screen he's watching "Ouch My Balls," like it's just a TV show about this dude getting kicked in the balls all the time.
Hey, we've had America's Funniest Home Videos forever.
Yes, but
I can't remember a time ever where that show did not exist.
No, and yes, there's a ton of, but there was a whole variety, right? And I'm not saying it's that much better, but there's a whole variety of this stuff. But the content that is out there now has gotten to the point where there's no need to write anything. There's no need to create. Like if you remember the screen, Joe, giant like 74-inch TV, but the video itself that he was watching was only about yay big, and the rest of it was advertisements. There was no actual commercial that cut into the show, and you see it on Instagram with your comes in as sponsored. On Facebook, if you search Amazon for something and then you jump on Facebook, all of a sudden Facebook has that same thing you were searching, like, hey, check this out, it's on sale. I'm like, no shit, Facebook, I just checked it out. Like, thanks for reminding me that it's on sale.
Ad ID. It's an ad ID, and
yeah,
it's tracked. You actually track by which you're viewing and searching, so they can cater to what you're looking at.
Yeah.
That's why the ad that you search for on Amazon will pop up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Wait a minute. No, hold up. No, man. Have you guys ever been having a conversation?
Yes, I know what you're going to say.
So the point was we were talking about Javalia, and I was having to explain this to them. And we went to bed, and I shit you not, 30 minutes later, I'm scrolling Facebook, and it's like, blam, blam, Javalia for Keurig.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes you think you damn monitored all precious. My phone listening to me, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Yep. All right, so to touch on what Joe was saying about people not being that dumb as a majority, but you got to think about in the film is, I forget exactly how far in the future.
500 years.
500 years, I think.
Part of the film is premise is that the food has also become just preservative laden and just terrible, which we all know in current times We are finding out that, food that sits on a counter for too long and has these chemicals in it, A, causes cancer, B, slows neurons in your brain, makes you, a little bit slower, which is the truth. So 500 years into the future, they're eating not even food, and who would even know what kind of implication there would be from eating like cloned beef. What the movie exactly is trying to explain, and it's not exactly envisioning a world exactly as it could, should, or will be, but I think it's using, like I was saying, hyperbole. It's using a little bit of exaggeration to show you like what that really extreme could be, and as we know in our current times, Donald Trump, this guy might be president, so we could get extreme. So now we're talking about 500 years of more desensitization to our environment and more, Kardashianism, and we're gonna have a series of, and this has already taken place. We had like Time and Warner merge recently, and I even went through like a legislative process where they were trying to stop that merger from happening because they're trying to stop these companies from monopolizing. But it's just the nature of the beast, as they all become worth more, they're gonna want to buy more, and eventually they're gonna try and purchase each other or merge together in order to up their profit. And so the other part of the main premise was there was no natural food because there was no crops, because water was cutting into the profit margins of the local company, Brondo, right?
Brondo, so the thirst mutilator.
Now we're watering crops with Brondo. And the whole selling point is it's got electrolytes. I shit you not, there are Mountain Dew products and big bold letters with it. It's got electrolytes. Electrolytes for the most part is like potassium and salt. And if you don't get that already from your regular food, then you need to know how to eat. You don't need to drink more Mountain Dew. Yes, in current times, there are a lot of people, and there is a current movement of people that really glorify intellectualism. But as much as they glorify it, there's an anti-intellectualism movement that that's trying to stomp out this fire before it grows any larger. That's the point. It's kind of like the nature of the beast is that we're corporately, as money becomes more of a focal point, and really it gets to the point, like, you like money and sex? I like money and sex. Let's hang out. You know what I mean? Like, that gets to the point.
Yeah.
And the more that money becomes the focal point, these companies they're just gonna consume each other and eat themselves until again, we have the political figures and these corporations or corporation that no doubtedly have no choice but to live hand in hand. Like, what kind of a landscape does that lay for the people that have to live in that bubble?
People don't take you seriously unless you look a certain way. Like, what are you wearing? What is your haircut like? What do you portray? Do you portray somebody who is like fancy, like I'm in a nice ass Gucci suit and I have this college degree that is right there? Like, yes, that's the person I trust. And this goes for any subject, whatever it is. People view you how you're packaged. My question is, as individuals and as a group, like, how do we portray ourselves in a light that people will trust what we say without perpetuating that horrible cycle that Idiocracy gave us?
I just walk around with a white shirt on.
There you go. But is it made by Hanes or Nike?
Shit.
So it's kind of a monster that we've created, I don't mean like us as even a generation, but just us as like several generations. Like, the Industrial Revolution stopped people from having to sew their own shit, right? Before this, your grandma might have made your shirt, or it might have been a hand-me-down from someone else that just knew how to sew some things. At a necessity, we need more shirts. Well, guess who can make more shirts?
Even with that, it's all about making money. Because, okay, Nike shirts, right? And we all know the reason why hemp and damn cannabis was banned. Yeah, but hemp is a way more stronger material and it lasts longer. But, oh my God, people are getting high and hemp and needs to be banned. So they basically made it illegal.
Other question is, how do we slow down certain things but still progress? Like, is it possible to get back to the days when, we were making our own clothes? Like you said, your grandparents used to make clothes. Like, are we going to teach your kids how to sew?
Nobody got time for that. Because in order to make enough money to actually live comfortably, you have to make more than what they're willing to pay per hour.
for everybody that is watching, leave a comment down below. Email me at theweirdcouch.com. Let us know what you think, what your point of view is on technology versus, new school versus old school. Just let us know what you think about this new series that we're doing, about today's topic. Click on the links here and here, or here, and like I said, just let us know what you think. And hopefully by the time I put this up, I will have Joseph's contact handle and Chris's contact and handle, so you guys can follow them on Instagram, on Snap, or Twitter, and all that stuff right up here. I just want to say thanks for watching, and hope you come back, guys.
Deuces.
See ya.
Oh my god, I got the weird couch on my desk.
Oh my god, I got the weird couch on my desk.
That is golden right now. DJ Videos, what's the channel?
DJ Videos.
That's what it's called.